There's something powerful about the moment a woman starts to find her inner strength. It's not a loud moment or a big show. Instead, it's a quiet change, like a seed breaking through the soil in the dark before it reaches sunlight. This change often comes out of nowhere. Maybe it's a breakup, a betrayal, a loss, or just a deep tiredness that she can't ignore anymore. Something inside her says, that's enough. No more pretending everything is okay. No more holding on to relationships that exhaust her. No more betraying herself to fit in. In that small, almost invisible moment, a spark lights up. It's not a full fire yet, but it's enough to start her journey back to herself. This journey isn't always easy or straightforward. As she reconnects with herself, she faces everything she's buried for years. Her hidden anger, her ignored desires, her disconnected body, her crossed boundaries. It's a tough mirror to look into, but it's one she needs. Carl Jung talked about individuation, the process of becoming whole. For many women, this starts with healing their sexual wound. Not just physical hurt, but the emotional, mental, and symbolic pain of growing up in a world that sexualizes, shames, and silences them. This wound isn't just hers, it's passed down through generations, carried in her story, her body, her very cells. When she starts to touch that wound, something shifts. She can't see her life, her pleasure, or her intimacy the same way anymore. This awakening is uncomfortable but freeing because it means facing what she could only sense before. Her body isn't foreign, her desires aren't shameful, and her voice deserves to be heard. This is when she begins a brave journey to fully live within herself. She starts to see her body as a sacred space, not a place of conflict. She sees her energy as a source of power, not a danger. She rewrites her story, not to repeat it, but to change it. But this is also where challenges appear. When a woman starts to reclaim herself, the world around her notices. Her family, partner, or friends might push back. Some feel threatened, others confused, because she no longer asks for permission to feel. She stops apologizing for her strength. She stops dimming her light to make others comfortable. This doesn't make her selfish, it makes her aware. She realizes she can't heal in a place that keeps her sick, or grow in a space that demands she shrink to please others. But this newfound strength can bring a deep loneliness, not because she's alone, but because she's seeing herself without masks for the first time. Everything becomes clear in a way that's both painful and transformative. What she once accepted now hurts. What she once excused now unsettles her. What she ignored now demands her attention. Yet in that solitude, something powerful grows. A new sense of who she is. This new identity doesn't rely on others' approval or bend to their expectations. It's the identity of a woman who has seen all of herself, her flaws and her strengths, and chooses to embrace it all. She's not perfect, but she's whole. She doesn't know everything, but she trusts her voice. She doesn't have all the answers, but she knows her truth is worth living. From a psychological perspective, this process is like alchemy, turning pain into wisdom, chaos into clarity, brokenness into wholeness. It's not an easy road, but it's one of the most meaningful a woman can walk. It means unlearning what she was taught, letting go of inherited pain and building something new from her soul. It's about choosing truth over comfort. So if you're at a point where everything feels like it's falling apart, where you can't keep going as before but don't know what's next, you might not be lost. You might be waking up. Awakening can feel confusing, but it's the greatest gift of self-love you can give yourself. It's not about becoming someone new, but returning to who you were before the pain, before the expectations, before you forgot yourself. When a woman reconnects with herself, she doesn't just heal herself. She heals her past, her future, and those around her. In that quiet but powerful act, a new world begins to form. One where love is about connection, not sacrifice. Where her body is a garden, not a battlefield. Where her wound becomes a doorway, not a prison. On the other side of that doorway is the life she always felt was hers but never dared to claim. Then there's another sign, subtle but heartbreaking. A man who's starting to fall in love but can't handle it emotionally. He reaches out with intense, almost desperate affection, then vanishes without warning or explanation. One day, he's full of gestures, words, and attention that make you feel seen and wanted. The next, he's gone, as if none of it mattered. A message goes unanswered. A call never comes. His warm gaze turns cold. This shift isn't just confusing, it hurts. Just when you started to open up, to trust his affection, he pulls away. You wonder what changed, what broke the connection, or if you did something wrong. But the answer isn't usually about you. He didn't pull away because he stopped feeling. He pulled away because he felt too much. His fear kicked in, the fear of getting hurt again, of repeating old mistakes, of being vulnerable. His mind acts like a fortress under attack, throwing up walls, making excuses, even sabotaging itself with thoughts like, "This is too fast. I'm not ready. I don't want to hurt her." These words don't show the truth, they show his fear. This is where many women get tripped up. They mistake his mixed signals for disinterest, thinking his early affection was fake. But it wasn't. Those contradictions don't mean he doesn't feel. They show an inner battle. He's torn between wanting to give in to love and fearing it will break him. He might not even realize this struggle himself. From the outside, he might seem manipulative or inconsistent, but often he's just confused. He's not playing games. He's wrestling with himself. When you're with a man who's falling in love but scared, everything about him feels uncertain. He wants you close but doesn't know how to hold you. He craves you but fears the power you have over his emotions. To protect himself, he pulls back, becomes distant, or tries to rationalize his feelings. You naturally want to demand answers. Why does he dim when he was so bright before? But pushing him for clarity often makes him retreat further, not because he doesn't care, but because he's overwhelmed. He doesn't need you to fix him, but he does need you to stay steady, to not lose yourself in his chaos. For him, love feels like pain. Not because you hurt him, but because love means lowering his guard, and that hurts like shedding armor he's worn forever. So what can you do? Look past his words. Listen beyond his silences. Words can lie, but energy doesn't. Notice if he keeps coming back despite his disappearances. If he seeks you out even when he says he's not ready. If his actions betray his feelings, his gaze, his gestures, the way he lingers. These show what he can't say. It's not about waiting forever for him to grow emotionally, but about seeing the signs that love is there, even if it's struggling to come out. One clear sign is his body language. Even if his words are vague or doubtful, his body speaks. It shows in how he turns toward you, how he looks at you when he thinks you're not watching, or in the small, unconscious touches he repeats. Carl Jung said the unconscious reveals itself not just in dreams but in gestures, posture, and tiny expressions. Pay attention. Does he lean toward you? Does his gaze hold more than words? Do his pupils widen when you look at him? Does his breathing shift? Does his voice soften? These small details aren't tricks. They're honest glimpses of what he feels but can't say. Nervousness, like fidgeting or laughing at odd moments, isn't indifference. It's the impact you have on him. His body can't hide the truth, even when his heart is scared. There's more. Notice how he acts in silence. Does he stay near you even without speaking? Does he watch you when you're with others? Does he say goodbye slowly? Like he doesn't want to leave? These are signs he's drawn to you, even if he can't admit it. If you learn to read this deeper language, you can see past his contradictions and understand that his love isn't a broken promise. It's a truth he's still learning to live with. But don't try to force him to explain it. Demanding answers or confronting him with logic won't help. When a man is caught in his own emotional maze, pressure pushes him deeper into hiding. Love, when mixed with fear, doesn't come through the mind. It slips through the cracks of the body, through gestures he can't control. Your power lies in observing and listening to his energy, not just his words. From this, you can ask yourself, what do you need? It's one thing to support someone as they navigate their emotions, but another to stay in a place where your own clarity gets lost waiting for theirs. As Jung said, the soul often speaks through the body before it finds words. When a man's heart starts to beat differently, even if his mind resists, his actions, those small, everyday choices, reveal more than any confession. This leads to another sign: he starts to care for you in small, natural ways. These aren't big gestures, but they show a growing connection he might not even notice. If you're out late, he checks if you're home safe. If you're sick, he brings something to help without being asked. If you're stressed, he sends a message or makes a small gesture to lift your mood. These aren't grand declarations, they're quiet acts of care, not planned but instinctive. They're valuable because they come from a place of genuine feeling, not calculation. You'll also notice he starts including you in his world without making a big deal of it. He mentions you to his friends, shares a song that reminds him of you, or shows you a photo because something made him think of you. He adjusts plans to see you without saying why. He asks your opinion on things that matter to him, as if your voice has earned a place in his heart. These show his heart is moving toward you. Even if his mind is still caught in fear, it won't be perfect. There will be quiet days, awkward moments, times he pulls back. But if you read these small signs, you can tell the difference between a man just passing time and one who's starting to choose you, even if he can't name it yet. True love doesn't always come with big gestures. Sometimes it's in a small action, a softer tone, a lingering glance, a shy question, or shared laughter. When that happens, his soul is already speaking, even if his words stay silent. But this can be confusing. He might say he's not ready for a relationship, yet his actions keep contradicting his words. He's still there, caring in small ways, paying attention when it doesn't make sense if he truly wanted distance. This is where emotional wisdom matters, not clinging to his words, but seeing the pattern. If his actions are warm and consistent, even when his words are unsure, there's real feeling there. He might not see it or know how to name it, but his soul is already involved. In Jung's terms, this is a split between the ego, what he thinks he should do, and the self, his deeper desires. That's why his care comes without fanfare, why he shows up for no clear reason, why he adjusts his life to be near you. You're not imagining it. You're seeing love expressed without conscious intent. But this love can still carry fear. He might have been hurt before, abandoned, betrayed, or taught that love means loss. So he draws close but keeps his distance, cares but downplays it. If you point it out, he might brush it off, saying it's nothing. But you know it's something because love isn't always spoken. It's shown. When someone cares without expecting anything back, without even realizing they're doing it, that's love in its purest form. As Jung said, what we deny controls us, but what we accept transforms us. He might still deny his feelings, but they're already changing him from within. Yet, just when things seem to deepen, he might pull away. There's no fight, no clear reason, just distance, silence, or vague excuses. You wonder what you did wrong, but you didn't. The connection didn't break. It grew so deep it touched his wounds, and that scared him. In Jung's view, this is the shadow waking up, the hidden fears, traumas, and insecurities he's buried. Real love doesn't just bring joy, it opens old wounds and forgotten pain. For someone with a history of loss or instability, love feels like danger, not safety. So when he starts to fall deeply, he doesn't always embrace it. He panics. He pulls away not because he feels less, but because he feels too much. His silence or withdrawal isn't the end. It's his soul struggling to hold the love he wants. Understanding this can help you stop blaming yourself and make choices from clarity, not pain. The fifth sign he's falling in love, even if he won't admit it, is this retreat when the connection is strongest. It's not your job to heal him, but seeing this can help you stay grounded. If he pulls away just when he seemed closest, it's not rejection. It's a sign of how deeply you affect him. Your presence challenges him, and if he faces his fears, he might return more present, more real. But that depends on him, not you. Finally, there's a breaking point, the moment he stops fighting his feelings. This is the sixth sign. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's simple. He stays. He chooses you. He builds with you without excuses or distance. His energy shifts. He's no longer running. He's still afraid, but he's learning to stay. In Jung's terms, this is the integration of the shadow. He accepts his feelings as part of who he is. He might say, "I'm not perfect, but I want to try with you." These words aren't meant to impress. They're real. Not all men reach this point. Some stay stuck in fear. But those who face their wounds and let their guard down cross a threshold. Their love becomes undeniable, and they no longer make you doubt your worth. If you've walked this path, your strength wasn't in waiting, but in choosing yourself while loving. If you're the man who stopped running, your vulnerability is your strength. True love doesn't complete us, it opens us. It doesn't make us perfect, it makes us real. When a man stops hiding and chooses to stay, the real work begins. Building a love that's honest, present, and chosen every day.